as being a turncoat and all of those.
No, it's not me who
I know. I'm not saying
I'm simply reflecting what is on the
Charles,
internet.
I'm not saying.
But that's why you're here to.
Charles, I'm not saying it's you. It's just one picture.
Well, you give us the other picture.
Then you just wait. Anybody who follows the politics of Nigeria and is not too young will dare say that I'm one of the most consistent political player in this country. I've been in this party since forever. I have had the privilege of having Olusegun Aremu Obasanjo as president, the first one from my place, like my father. He's done his time, he's left the party, I'm here. I've had the privilege of having Governor Benga Daniel. He's my leader, he's from my state, he's been here, he's left, he's come back. He did the Director General of Atiku campaign in 2019 while I was spokesperson. He left, I'm here. Aso Rock, I dare say that General Sani Abacha of Blessed Memory, your soul continuously rest in peace, was the first president to really use Aso Rock because Babangida built it, but Abacha stayed about 5 years there. My friend, my bosom childhood friend, we're sons of soldiers together, went to the same school. His son was still my friend, Abba Abacha. We remain childhood friends. We practically go in and out of Aso Rock till 5 a.m. in the morning because we're busy talking, and we resume there. Our names are permanently at the gate.
Right.
I'm not a stranger to that kinds of thing. I visited the president, needfully so, for I had become uncomfortable with the direction of the party management in this democracy now. I had been concerned for some time.
When you say party management,
Democratic political party management.
right?
I'd been concerned about it for some time. And Charles, because this is your platform, I'll say something to you that others didn't know.
Sure.
Before the president would declare his presidential ambition, so that you date it, the next day in the morning, he said, I want to step on into the president's shoes and not on his toes. A day before then, I had said, it's time for us to meet. And we met. We did a good 1 hour, 40 minutes. And one of the questions I had asked him then was, hey, with all of the energies and effort that people like us put in to bring this democracy to bear, I am not comfortable with the directive principles of how the political parties are being run. If you become candidate, assuming you succeed, that would be nice because the Democrats will be in power. The play around your ambition is they're just too toxic around your people. Changing the goalposts, making different rules is irritating. If your brother, because I felt that both of them come from the same school of thought of long-time Democrat, if your brother Atiku succeed, you guys have to understand, beyond developing the country, we got to stabilize the democracy. Because at the heart of not being able to have sustainable development where every man comes in and starts all over again is because the parties are too weak.
Right. And how has that gone as far as your
I'm taking you somewhere, Charles.
Right. Okay.
I don't want you to knock me off the top person I'm telling you. That's the type of conversations I usually have with him.
Right.
After 2 years, I got a call that, okay, come see me. Do you think we couldn't have had that call 2 months after he got in, or 3 months, or 1 year?
Yeah, but did you try to see him and then he gave you an appointment subsequently, or he just called you?
Without a doubt, there was not the direction things went.
Right.
One of our leaders, who is quite high up, and I didn't take permission to mention him, so I'll just leave you out of that, phoned me to greet me, and I assumed it was just, the normal banter, and then
right.
Next thing, one thing led to the other, a date was set for me to meet him, and it was Salah period anyway. I imagine that people, especially because I know the weight of belief that opposition elements and ordinary Nigerians who just want a new order have in me, I feel their love when I go to the airport, to the restaurant, all over the world. So I was aware that, hey, they're going to be so scared that I didn't losing their Ronaldo.
Absolutely.
And I then decided, okay, what do I do now? I went to Chief Obasanjo, who is my father in the real sense, and he wasn't home.
You mean before you met the
Before,
president?
but he wasn't home.
Okay,
he wasn't
right.
home on my way out. We live in the same town. So I said,
Right.
okay, I wanted to just tell him, listen, I'm going to see him, blah, blah, blah. But then he wasn't home, so I went there. I'm happy I went. I was concerned about three things. I've told you the first. The second was, I kept telling myself, have we created a nation where we're going to negatively look at all developmental effort while it's a work in progress, only to start wanting the same drivers after we've probably made it difficult for them to even concentrate and do the job. I wanted to check that. The third thing I wanted to check, I've known Ashadu Bola Tinubu president since 1994, under circumstances that does not give room for cheerleading. I wanted to check whether, from all of his frail and all the rumors around, whether it was still there, whether he understood what he was doing, whether the directive principles that is driving some of these things that we may be slightly confused about is well thought out.
Right. And what was your conclusion?
I tell you, and I kid you not, Charles, Nigeria has something there. I pray and I wish, for the benefit of those of us who are their successor generation, that those things all come together. Because I do not believe that if you look at the way the world is today, anyone would desire that the Nigerian nation continue to struggle with politics. He was a brilliant guy.
So after 1 hour of conversation with him, you came to that ineluctable conclusion.
Without a doubt. You know, Charles, when you told me to come for this interview, you know I don't have the script. I don't even know your prologue and all of that. You know, there's a way you'll be asking someone tough questions, and he's answering them, and the touch point at which he's answering them, you know that he's thought about these things even before today. I used to do a program called The Lion's Den. Some of the people that I interviewed...
That was in Ogun State.
That was in Ogun. Yeah. Some of the people that I interviewed was the Nobel literate, Manzuri Matai of Kenya. I've done... the very first professor of agric economics in Nigeria, Professor Olasukomi, yeah, that's his name, he's late now, Olatubosun. When I started to ask him questions, not in an insulting or, a hostile manner, he wept. I know how to do all sides of this conversation. When I asked the presidents the kinds of questions that you need to ask him. Let me give you a few and tell you how he answered. One of the ones that will shock you the most. I said to him, the Americans are redesigning the concept of global cooperation because they seem to be interested in safeguarding their own play. And that's going to obviously affect the entire arrangement of the world order. What are we going to do about it? If you ask most of the people who are saying they want to be president, that question, they can't answer it. He didn't do M. He said, in the real sense of the word, what do we really need from them like that, other than to be given the opportunity to design our way? Even in the America, are they that rich, their people? They need about 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to pay mortgages. Our people practically all own their houses by themselves. I'm trying to create a scenario here in Nigeria where they can have credit facilities too, and such kinds of opportunities that those who don't have a lot of money can also begin to do that. All we need to do is to make sure that within our own economy, there's enough robustness in the finance sector that people can access credit and do stuff.
But he said that in his manifesto. Then.
Listen, man, I'm not going to be reading his manifesto when I'm a PDP man. I'm telling you, and then I asked him...
But you need to know what the competition is doing.
No, please. We released our manifesto before theirs, and by the time they released their manifesto, I just thought, let me give you another one. That will make you know why I said it's quite brilliant. I asked him, I said, look, I'm concerned that our people in the north, they're just dying with all of this thing. A military officer has been head of state, they couldn't solve it. You're there now, the people are still dying, it's giving me sleepless nights. You know what he said? He didn't go, make buzzwords. He said, Segun, the thing is a little bit structural to deal with. I'm hoping that with all of the things we're doing with Kinetic and the enforcement, I'm encouraging them. I'm hoping that I can put forest guards there so that they can take over the area of the forest and it's not unmanned. Over and above that, anytime from now, I'm going to put the Nigerian police force to recruit 1,000 locals, integrate them into the Nigerian police force, train them and arm them, but deploy them in those areas where they come from. You see, I can't give you everything.
No, I understand that.
Because I wasn't doing that because I wanted to just tell you something.
Yeah,
dude.
but it sounds like, I don't mean to interrupt you. I mean, you're sounding as though you are awed by him saying that, or that you've just come into the realize. I mean, those are things that were said during the campaign.
Okay, let me give you another one.
We're 2 years into his administration.
Let me give you another.
We've had an announcement about forest guards, but we haven't seen the huge numbers of police being recruited. We haven't seen insecurity dramatically coming down. We've heard the army consistently saying that it is not contingent upon kinetic moves in order to bring insecurity down.
That's when you learn so that I can answer you.
That is so much more, the non-kinetic is just as important.
Charles.
So, I mean, I'm not hearing anything particularly new in what you're saying. Or what it is that really impressed you.
Charles.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that I'm a spokesperson or I work for him and Minister.
No, I understand that.
You need to hear. All I was trying to tell you was the questions I asked him and how those answers came.
No, but you're suggesting that he answered them so brilliantly that you were sort of swept off your feet.
Can you stop, Charles? Charles, do you want us to have a conversation?
Okay, go ahead.
Come
on,
Listen,
go ahead.
I was trying to tell you that somebody who does not have the right mental alacrity, with all of his weak, his frail, his this, is that, will not be able to coordinate thought processes that finally.
So he came across to you as very alert.
Let me give you another one.
Right.
In the course of trying to say, this Cardoso, why is it our people got more than others, something like that? He said, I've tried to balance it.
You mean the allegations of nepotism on his part?
I didn't use the word nepotism.
Well, I
used the word lopsided.
I said the allegations of nepotism.
Charles.
Right.
Call it whatever you want to call it.
Well, I'm saying allegations.
I called it lopsidedness because I hate when people try to criminalize actions of leaders as if they were premeditated to injure. They're not.
Well, you wouldn't know that.
I said, I'm just going to give you an answer that makes you see that. I said, this guy does and I said, Segun, do you know why it was Jimmy? He said, because I know he has the ability to even tell me we can't do this. And he gave me an example that shocked me. He said, let me give you one. He said there's something that I put together one way for some money that was a facility to go to a small and medium scale. And everybody was ready and they just wanted deployment. And when they came to him and, he tried to say, why are you not deploying? He said, the guy said to him, listen, he said, hey, Mr. President, I'm still working on some things on it. This one was done by CBN guarantee. If you know yourself and your friends are that in a hurry, you might as well go and use your sovereign guarantee to do the one you want to do anyhow you want. Right. He said, Segun, I'm the president. I needed a central bank governor that can speak the issues like that and be tough, given our history.
Right.
Charles, you don't have to be impressed, but you're not the president. He is.
Well, he clearly is.
Yes, exactly. And when you sit with the president, and you don't have the eyes that is so ugly, or only looking for things to be depressed about, or to parrot things that would depress the Nigerian citizen. If I tell you, I know what I saw.
Yeah,
and by no definition,
but you're a member of the opposition. At least I assume you are. So
I am.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the expectation is that you're going to put the president's feet to the fire.
There was a lot of it. I wasn't going to answer all the questions.
And that you're going to try and glean from his answers a sense of purposeful direction from the point of view of the opposition about where he's taking this country. But let me ask you a number of questions because time is going. And I appreciate your taking the time to try and explain, the way that it was.
I can do a yes or no. I can do a one line.
Well, I mean, you don't have to do a yes or no, but I'm just saying that I need to ask you some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you surprised by the way people have reacted to your visit? Some of them very angry at the visit and the sense that perhaps you betrayed not only what they believe to be your political cause, which is essentially opposition politics, but your political allies in the opposition.
Okay, yeah. So my political cause is not just opposition. I have been damn loyal and tunnel viewed about only the PDP. Nobody should have an imagination that I'm part of any other conglomeration of people doing opposition for opposition's sake. I'm not part of such. I have been a pan-Nigerian person in PDP, and I have been there since the get-go till now.
And you're still in the PDP?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
They are only probably mirroring the fear that given the way the party is being managed by those that are managing it, and the way most of their top dogs are jumping out, that anyone who even as much as says a handshake or says hello to the president has suddenly betrayed them. I wonder where we took an oath.
Well, I'm glad you made that point.
I wonder where we took an oath that said that if I wanted to leave the party, I needed their permission. Right. Well, when their leaders are jumping up and down, they didn't seem to be betrayed. I greeted the president and took a picture, and they are going gaga. Yeah. I'm not going to fall for that kind of cheap mob madness.
Well, I mean, the point is to hear from you. You have made it clear that you are still a member of the PDP.
Till tomorrow.
Because the internet, I'm sure you know that, is alight with reports that you are set to defect to the APC.
Do you know the funny thing? That kind of conversation didn't even happen between me and the president.
Right.
We didn't talk about that kind of conversation. We talked about other things. One of the things that I could even say we talked about, I was asking him, I'm in a hurry for food production. He says, I'm thinking I've already brought in the tractors.
Right.
And I'm trying to get them to clear reasonable land within the zones and send the tractors to them so they can scale up food. Then I chipped in and said, and what's going to happen to my Ogun State? He said, I've just given them the opportunity of that cutting thing that is done. Those things are happening. He said the difference between the way we're running it and the way they've always run it that didn't work is that they don't think through the private sector components of it that can make it sustainable. They do we're going to do rice, and then they put a lot of money there, and 5 minutes after, you can't find any rice. Then they say they're going to do cassava, they put the money there, they can't find cassava. That deliberately, they're making sure that those that can carry and sustain it, listen, Charlie, I'm not here to come and, if he wants me to be a spokesman, we'll have to talk about that, but that's not what I'm here for.
I like that. Well,
that's not what I'm here
let me
for.
pick you up on that point, because I was going to ask you, did you discuss the possibility of any appointments with him? Did he offer you anything or hint at anything?
No, we didn't. Oh, God. That's not the kind of conversation I've been having with these guys since 94. The type of conversations myself and the president, before he was president and now that he's president, the type of conversation we talk about is, okay, for instance, I said to him, Mister, if I consider this thing you're doing is hard work, and I know it's hard work, are we not going to start planning succession? Won't we plan succession? Won't this country begin to think of how to move to younger people? Those are the kinds of ideas we play with.
Right.
I don't play with leader. I don't tell leader, how are you doing? Did you sleep well that night? Your hand pain. I don't have time for that kind of nonsense.
So let me ask you this.
Ask me.
Because there are a lot of people who remain in one party and support a candidate another party.
Let me give you
are you going to support...
Hang
on, let me ask you the question. Are you going to support President Tinubu in 2027 to be re-elected as president? Straightforward question.
If I am going to support Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if I am going to support Ashwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu for president in 2027, by God and everything that is in me, I'll leave and join his party.
Okay.
I don't believe in the nonsense of saying you are in one party and you're running. No, I don't do that kind of thing. Look, I did an election in Ugo. Listen, so you get the point clear. And those who are skeptical.
Yeah, you're an aspirant there.
Listen, I did an aspiration for governor in Ugo.
Yeah.
We ran all the way to the wire to the Supreme Court. At the final hour, the verdict was the verdict. The other guy who is jumping around saying he wants to do coalition, they couldn't have the decency to even wait and vote for the candidate of the party. You know what I did? I waited. I worked so hard. I was doubling up because I knew the numbers must show. And guess what happened, Charles? It was in my federal constituency where I worked that he got the largest margin of vote. I don't have time for pretenses. If I'm not there, I'm not there. If I'm here, I'm here.
Okay,
I've
well,
been in PDP for 28 years,
right.
Charlie.
Let me-
Most of them don't even have that record of 28 days.
And that's a commendable record.
Thank you. And if I'm going to leave to go and support the president, I'll damn say I'm going.
Right, but
in any case,
but
look
that
at the
is
party.
that is a possibility.
That's in the
is it?
future. Why will anybody who has a sense in his head say that he's going to
Right.
stay in a party when you are even telling them to repair the party, to repair the party, to repair the party? I've done that. I've screamed and shouted that we need to reform this party. We need to make sure that elect parties for me.
So for you, they're not reforming it.
Are they reforming it for you?
No, I'm not in the party.
Then
you are.
You are in the media. You can see what's
No,
going on.
I just need to be clear
Of course they've not-
that there is the probability. It moves from possibility to probability that you may
There is a very
that you may leave the
There is
party.
a very strong possibility that looking at what's going on in my environment,
Right.
looking at my state where I come from, looking at my tribe and their own desires and my people, there's a very, very strong possibility that I will more than likely leave.
And if you left, it would be to the APC.
I can't, you see,
Well,
yeah, listen.
I'm just trying to get
you're
things straight.
Yeah, you're good.
Right.
If I delayed because I thought someone else would show me signs
Right.
that they can not just want to win an election, but run the country.
Right, because you started off this conversation by trying to essentially say that there is nothing more that emerged out of your meeting
that's
beyond your
post-meeting
being
now.
incredibly impressed by
Yeah,
the
post-meeting,
president.
I've been very
because
disgusted.
one
Listen,
of,
Charles.
one of the people who know you from way back,
Like Sowore.
Omoyele Sowore, in a Facebook post accused you of doublespeak and of always being self-serving. He said you reached out to him after the 2023 election and that you expressed dissatisfaction with Nigeria's direction and that you proposed a unified front against President Tinubu, but that he always knew, his words, not mine, he always knew that you wouldn't be able to maintain your resolve when facing off against the Tinubu regime.
Thank you.
Especially when you spy an opportunity. What's your reaction to that?
Did you not read my reaction to the Sowore comment?
No, I want you to tell me your reaction.
Charles, you read wherever you saw that document, that comment, you saw my reaction. If you want this and you want to take the reaction I wrote, your business, but let me just say this. I do not believe that the concept of opposition is daydreaming and building castles in the sky that don't work.
Right.
I don't believe that either Wole, Yele, myself, or any of the Yoruba people will be reasonable to think in a political zone country we should be dreaming and taking the peace by saying that when a Yoruba man is in charge, any other person can try to challenge him and win. It would be ridiculous for the Yorubas to say, oh, Bala Shariton president will take 4 years, and then the Yorubas will want a fresh 4 years so that they can then do 12 years. So that doesn't make sense. I called Yele at the beginning when I saw the way the whole thing was. And I wanted us to sit down and take a look at it broadly. But you know, Yele, I concede that he's been standing with his YAC, whatever the party that he's been, and he's the presidential candidate, and he's the leader of his party. I concede and I see his effort, but I don't think it will work. I'd hope that we'll sit down and say, okay, dude, how can we make this work? I wasn't looking at mainly challenging the president. I wanted us to start thinking and vying our mind to succession, because these men are old. It's not their fault, everybody grows old. But I have not seen a systematic plan that allows the next generation of leaders to begin to collaborate with themselves.
Right.
Okay, what do we do? How do we go about it? Can we have a roadmap that we can all sign up to? That cheeky nonsense from Yele doesn't make sense to me. In the University of Lagos I talked about, I'm the son of a soldier. Yes, I could rally them for protest, but I don't think that if I know what it means to have students come before rapid fire of a machine gun, knowing what I know, I should be interested in telling them to go do that.
Right.
It's talking about the SAP riot. And I chose at that point in time that once we're able to break the barricade of the school and do that SAP riot and join our colleagues, That's it.
Right.
We were not going to stand on the street and do Tiananmen Square. The
Well,
world has metamorphosed. But that's Yele's problem. He can keep running the way he wants.
Right.
I'll keep encouraging because he's my brother. I see some of the good things he's doing. But I don't have to be Yele. And Yele doesn't need to have a meeting with me. It's not important.
We're pretty much out of time. What's likely to be your next political move? Is it over with the PDP? Does a new political horizon beckon? And even if it is not necessarily the agency?
My greatest disappointment as we're getting ready for 2027 is actually Peter. And he is my disappointment.
You mean Peter Obi?
Yes, of course.
The Labour Party candidate.
Peter Obi, that's his name.
Right.
The reason is that I had hoped in all of his seriousness, where I know how we started that thing, that Peter will understand that we can move and challenge the status quo, not the way he's been doing it all by himself, just right now, but we could do that just to be able to take the outcome, even if it is defeat. We'll say we gave you the best push and we shattered the glass ceilings and united the country because there's no glass ceiling on top of the Southeast. But I can't.
Well, he did. He made an effort in 2023.
That was 2023. You don't know how we got there. I'm talking about the future. You make one effort and then the next thing you're doing is you're running up and down the street telling people you want to. What kind of talk is this? Are we going to go into? It's his business though. And I told him many months before. Now look, if your mind is not made up by May 29th this year, what you want to do,
right?
I'm going to be more inclined to support Ashaju. And the simple reason is this. I told him, Peter, the benefits that we have done now by integrating you as someone that can be leader of the Igbo political force and in a pan-Nigerian environment, I do not think you should throw it away. But it's your call. If you want to do that, or this coalition, that, sitting down with same of same and thinking that you're bringing a new order.
Well, he hasn't made any definitive decision.
If you are giving him such a free pass, why the hell are you making my life hard? Have I made any statements? Thank you. I'm going to most likely, I hope and pray that magic happens within the next couple of days so that my party can at least be ready for contest. You've heard me say, you can't run a political party on an assumption that you don't even know who the secretary is. You guys may even end up having parallels. You may end up not even having candidates.
Yeah. I think you have a point.
I can't.
When it comes to the PDP, no question about that.
If I'm not going to do PDP, by God, I cannot do any other party apart from APC. That's clear.
But you have to be in one party or the other.
How am I supposed to be a politician? Do you think I'm a soothsayer? I'm not a freedom fighter. I'm a politician.
I see. Well, listen, Segun, it's been absolutely brilliant talking with you.
Charles, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
And I'm glad that on this program, you made it clear that it is very probable. It had gone beyond the realm of possible.
Ordinarily, the president is
now probable that you may leave the PDP, and if you do, you're going to go to the agency.
Charles, you know what happened? Yeah. I had actually thought, before going to that meeting, I was a little bit skeptical that what will he say? Because we're close like that. I'd actually thought that the president was going to say, okay, my son or my junior brother, whichever he decides to use, Segun, I'm done with this, you're roaming around with other people. I need your support now, come back. I would not have been able to say no.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of culture, just like you guys don't have that kind of culture too.
Yeah.
You did your election in the Southeast and gave your son 99% of the vote. Shall I leave my brother in the house?
Oh, come on. You're now sounding very, you're sounding very, you're driving in a direction that most people don't associate with you.
I know, I'm just trying to tell you.
People see you as a pan-Nigerian.
I am a pan-Nigerian.
Not a Southwestern politician.
Charles, I can never be, it's too late. We don't know that.
Well, you're sounding that way.
Well, but because it is okay when some people support their man, and then when we support ours, we're bigots. Does that even make sense?
I got to tell you this, mate. It's been really nice talking with you.
It's always a pleasure talking to you.
And I'm glad you came and shared these moments with us.
It's a pleasure.